All right, fellas, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. You are watching our Aserai Peasants Revolt campaign here. Our focus continues to be all things Bannerlord related, and especially advanced battlefield command and tactics. And we had this circular battle here, this circular chasing warfare in the last episode against an army of Southern Empire, over 3,000. But we were able to put them down with a whole bunch of looters' assistance. All that's left is this little tiny army of 7 nobles running away from us. And it's time for us to head east, right? We've dealt a severe blow to the forces here in the west. We have a castle under siege, Jamea Castle, and then I think after that it will be time to attack the Aserai. We continue to fight this two-front war, and it's been on my mind about what I'm going to do with this. I appreciate all the suggestions. I am considering just recruiting some minor clans and even other player clan, even though, unfortunately, they will have some normal troops. I haven't been able to figure out a mechanical way around that. With the My Little Warband mod, they do have a naughty tendency to recruit normal troops. You cannot stop them from doing this. I researched it extensively on the mod. We're also going to introduce this, right? The Jarl's Scythe. You'll have to excuse the name here, of course. We are Hugh the Hammer. I didn't make it that Hugh Scythe because, of course, his name wasn't even that when I made that weapon. And that is going to be a polearm we are introducing to this series. We have abundant looters continuing to reinforce our units here throughout the land. We don't even need these guys, in fact, but I am going to leave some troops here, and Ukba Castle needs to be reinforced. So I continue to use these looters here and there in battles, of course, to great effect in that last battle, but also mostly to reinforce, right? Every time we go to a garrison, you see there's looters, mounted ransackers, and mounted pillagers. Now, my other units here are acting a little bit as like a carrying device, right? Aircraft carriers or troop carriers. These guys are just, this guy has 130 looters. And I think the other 2 units here, the other 2 characters are also both supporting, mounted pillagers and her army and mounted ransackers. Every time we can, we're going to dump a bunch of these in a castle because it gives that garrison a little bit of heft, right? A little bit of defense. Mounted pillagers are archers, ransackers are tier 3 infantry, essentially. So it's kind of like dumping a bunch of weak militia into the town. Of course, looters are the worst, the scuzziest of all troops, right? Tier 1, they might as well be tier -1. But they do throw rocks, as we saw in the last battle, and if you have 600 of them or 1,000 of them in a city or a castle, well, they're going to loot. They're probably going to steal. Look at all these people getting captured. It's awesome. Taken prisoner by looters, taken prisoner by looters. That's obviously independent of our campaign. These looter bands are out there cornering and destroying noble forces. It's a hilarious thing. But I've been able to use to good effect these looters here. In fact, there's some elite troops. Look at, there's more looters there. There's some elite troops here at Medeni Castle. We are going to restock our units here, try to find some more looters, and then race over to this castle. This castle is probably going to make it. I mean, in other words, it's going to survive until we can get there. And this is perfect, right? These looters are literally right on the road, so come with us. We say this in the...
You best back off.
They all look fucking scummy and you must back off. They just seem illiterate and fucking just not exactly, your most staunch fighters. But right now they're doing a pretty good job of holding over castles and cities for us. We're using the resources we have here. This was not my intent when I started this campaign. I'll be perfectly forward about that. My intent with this campaign was to have a couple armies helping us, right? A player clan and maybe a minor clan or 2. Unfortunately, I realized very early on that the minor clans and player clans would be roaming around with the regular troops, and that is something that I'm expressly trying to avoid in this campaign. You'll see the occasional little Aserai Mamluk guard or something like that in our army, but you observe as you sort of look through our troops here that it's almost entirely looters, minor clans, and militia. When I say looters, of course, that's also, look at this guy. He's literally going into our castle. That's also slang for bandits, right? We do have some forest bandits. We have some of the good looters, the good bandit parties. Look at this. This is just perfect. We're literally going to be able to capture this guy here or add him. We'll say they're volunteering here right at the walls to Medeni Castle here. We'll be able to completely stuff the garrison here full of looters, and make our way over to Chimaya Castle. Again, I'm using these guys as troop carriers. I realize this is a little bit tedious, so we will mix in some anecdotal stuff here occasionally when there's extensive content where it's just me transferring troops around. Here, I want to talk about this. So I did have 5 or 6 locations when we started this campaign. I think 2 cities and 3 castles, and we had about 200 or 300 total minor clans, bandits, brigands, boss bandits too. We had like a few forest ranger, bandit, boss, and stuff like that. And I haven't used them all, right? When I go to castles, there's sort of a smattering of these guys mixed throughout our little rebelling kingdom here. Now you notice it's getting very heavy in mounted ransackers, mounted pillagers, and looters. And that is because these troops are free, right? Every time we encounter them on the battlefield, or more accurately, the campaign map, they just readily join our army. So we are going to continue to take advantage of that, little game mechanic here. We are simulating a revolt, right? And oftentimes in revolts, huge amounts of weak, scuzzy, pitchfork-wielding peasants will join your campaign. These looters perfectly fit that MO, so to speak. So kind of evening out our troops here. And of course you get little glances at the Tasmanian Devil and the Angry Housewife and the Desert Sniper. These are part of the My Little Warband mod. My initial intention was to introduce those guys after a battlefield loss. And I know it's a bit of a spoiler if this is the first episode you're watching. We haven't lost yet. Amazingly, we haven't lost a battle, and no save scumming. I actually had to fight a couple battles over because the battles crashed. It was a recent battle. Never mind that, though. We have not had to reload a battle because we lost it yet in this series with these bandits, which partly speaks to the value of troops like your Forest Bandit and your Sea Raider. The YouTube content creator, he's a great content creator, by the way. I like to pump up good YouTube content creators. I'm not opposed to sending you guys off to other content creators. The guy's name is like Mr. Chicken Bannerlord or something like that. He's a hilarious fella. He does not do narration. He does all text, but his videos are fantastic. And it's mostly for fun, right? And most of his stuff is just to make you laugh. But if that's what it does, he does it very well, right? So check out Mr. Chicken if you've never checked out his channels. 6 months ago or a year ago or something like that, I saw him do it's sort of a highly edited bandit conquest, and it's great, right? He's got his Forest Bandits and his Sea Raiders. That was something that certainly helps me consider doing another one of these too, right? So we do have some good looking troops, but of course the other reason we've had success is I have an exorbitant, enormous, gigantic, ridiculous amount of gameplay in Bannerlord. At this stage, I know Bannerlord better than my own penis, right? I mean, I know that's a funny analogy, but I've certainly seen a lot of Bannerlord in the last couple years here. My wife is still a little bit curious as to what to think of it all, but obviously I make plenty of time for her and I to do our own thing. We're still in the process of finalizing our purchase of land, and it has been fun for me to do this. Of course, I play a lot at work. I'm a full-time firefighter. All right, a little bit of a slow intro to today's episode. Might even go back in and edit all that out, especially where I said I know Bannerlord better than my own penis. I can picture guys out there shaking their head. Obviously, I'm just trying to make some lively commentary for you fellas. So, we are going to arrive at this Aserai force with the right size of force to fight them out in the open. I'm trying to avoid getting inside castles unless we need to, tactically for some reason. And this seems like a perfect opportunity to attack these fucks outside. Let's see if there's enough light. The sun is setting rapidly. I don't like fighting in the dark. Yeah, because you guys can't see very much. There's some kind of pink puffy clouds out there, but what we're going to do here, yeah, we'll wait till tomorrow morning. That'll weaken the garrison a little bit. It'll only take about 6 hours of gameplay, and that will allow us to fight them in better daylight and obviously have a little bit more of a tactical advantage, a battlefield advantage, because they're dwindled down just a little bit more by the garrison. That should do nicely. I am going to be fiddling around with this polearm some in this campaign. On some level, I'm trying to create a beast character so that I can also talk about that in some episodes. In fact, I'm working on an episode right now. Might even be released before this, right? Because I make these and then these get released 5 to 10 days after I make them. So this is an infantry-heavy army of Aserai, and that's a bit of a problem for us here. I don't have a huge amount of strong archers. We have a good amount of javelin throwers, so we're definitely going to try a kill box here. But this is going to be interesting. We'll see what the map looks like. We probably have 200 archers, but maybe only 100 of them are tier 3 and tier 4. We've got a lot of mounted pillagers and shit like that. It's a pretty depressing lot of guys with no armor holding a bow and a handful of arrows. All right, so looking at the battlefield here, I see a ridge there we could play with a little bit, but the enemy's right on it, so we're not going to be able to take that like I would like to. I think I can get a cav division and just stick it in their face, and then we will try to counterpunch with the 8th Corps. I will usually use the 2nd Corps defensively. Speaking of defensive, this is our crossbow division, right? And there's 60 guys in there now with our reinforcements that are either bower units, the crossbow merc, or they're that chosen wolf or whatever the fuck. We got about a dozen of those guys that also have a shield. So the 4th Corps is crossbow, the 2nd is meat cav, spear cav mostly, although some have shields. The 3rd Corps, 1st Corps, and the 6th Corps are basically the same thing because I just have not been able to accumulate shock troops in this campaign. Nevertheless, it's nice having 3 infantry corps because, of course, you can square them, you can kite with them, you can throw javelins with them and do some good things. So 6th on the right here, 3rd on the left, and then we have the 7th and 8th horse archer / jav cap divisions to play with. My intent, of course, is to kite into a kill box here, but I hate the angles and we're pressed up against the map, so this is a pretty suboptimal setup for us. Got the 6th Corps, the 8th Corps. The problem, of course, is that we just don't have any real meat units. And what I mean by that is like tanky tanks. We don't have any tier 5 or 6 infantry or cavalry, and so it's very hard to deal with a bunch of jav cav coming in. In fact, almost that entire division doesn't have a shield, right? So we're going to be facing a lot of javelins, and if you've ever been hit by a javelin from a Vanguard Faris, it does like half or 2/3 your life, right? And it probably one-shots a lot of these weaker troops, especially the mounted ransackers and the pillagers. The pillagers are these little tier 2 looters, basically, on a horse. They got a bow. All right, let's put this 2nd cav right in front of the enemy here. At least those guys have shields. They can do a little bit of absorbing, but here they come, right? Here comes this jav cav pouring in here. Let's try to rotate this 2nd. We've got the 2nd Archer Division. I think we'll just push these guys to the very far edge of the map. That way they can kind of shoot in relative safety over there. I'm dragging the 8th Corps. These guys are really kind of in the way, though, because I want to start kiting their main infantry body. I think what we'll do here is use the 2nd Division in a square and kite it in front of the enemy and hope they're distracted by it. These archers here are spraying away. All right, here's what I'm going to do. Let's send the 8th Corps off to attack the enemy archers, basically to occupy them. We're going to rotate our archers behind the enemy here. The hill is horrible for us here. We have terrible line of sight. A lot of our units can't shoot because of this battlefield. So a lot of our units that I'm trying to involve here in a kill box just don't have good angles. This battlefield looks, the more I look at it, it's particularly bad for my strategy here. You can see the crossbow here. They don't even have line of sight. So we'll just keep backing these guys up. They have a massive vanguard of infantry, and all of those infantry are better than our troops, right? That is just 400 or 500 nasty infantry. Let's see here. And they are boring in towards our infantry and archers. Can't have that. All right, so the 5th Corps is behind them, but again, that fucking hill is like in the way here. It's impeding our strategy pretty severely here. We can split the 1st and 6th on both flanks. Our 8th Corps is over there charging their archers, and bad things are happening because they don't have shields. All right, let's back the 5th up a little bit more. These fucking assholes are strafing behind our infantry line here. I feel like we're losing this battle. Let's keep kiting here in the center. We have wrapped them up, but man, we just are not getting a lot of arrow fire on them. I think because of these fucking hills. You know, I don't know. Right there, you can just see the 5th Archers can't shoot these guys. They're on the other side there, and they literally can't shoot them. Let's get the 2nd Corps backed up here. Fucking pain in the ass. And there's no room. We're really kind of little tiny variances in the battlefield can really fuck over your army here. Now our 5th Corps is at least spraying some arrows in there. We can line up the 1st and 3rd over here. At least our javelins are finding flesh. They have formed a big fishball, and what a fucking big fishball it is, too, right? It's a huge amount of enemy infantry. I mean, they are pouring towards the back. Oh, shit. Get back, boys. I did not mean to charge. I don't know if I fat-fingered that or what, but that was not good. Those guys are getting skewered. All right, let's get this 1st Division backed up a little bit more. We're going to have to fight here, though. You can't just stall this forever because we don't have space on the battlefield. They're starting to squeeze the 5th against the walls over here. We are doing good damage at range. We are starting to weaken them, but I think heavy blows are coming here. They're crimping in on our 1st Division at the back of the wall. In fact, they're forcing the 2nd Division out from behind here. And these divisions are just going to have to charge, right? We're going to move these guys in. A hail of javelins precedes the infantry attack here. Reinforcements popped up right in my way, and in we go, right? On the other side, the 6th and 3rd Corps can be brought to bear. I've got little tiny weak infantry here, or archers here with no armor. Those guys are going to get executed. Man, and this fucking force, they're in a big square. They're not fighting, but usually the enemy does that, and then they charge. And they haven't even charged yet, and we're still dying. We're in trouble. These guys are going to charge. They just called for the charge. Fuck. All right. At least we've got troops surrounding these fuckers. Hugh the Hammer's going to do his dirty work, right? Just clobbering guys left and right. Spoke too soon. I'm going to get to the other side of this. We do have them wrapped up, but I've used the analogy before. This is a little bit like you and your 4 friends going out to the Sahara or to the fucking Serengeti plain and cornering a water buffalo. Let me know how that goes for you fellas. Get all around it and then charge and tell me how the results are. That's what this feels like. I mean, we are starting to finally tear them up here, but man, we suffered some serious losses in this battle. They just have tough infantry. Elite Manabliton, Palace Guard, Legionary. I mean, this is a nasty force. But that's good, right? We don't want to just be destroying fucking militia. I'm rather glad. And victory is ours. Our 8th Corps shredded their archers finally. Our infantry's chasing them off the map here, and victory is ours. In fact, it's time to farm a little bit with our polearm, right? We just put on this new polearm. This 92 speed polearm is one of the fastest I've ever built. At least for good range like this. The range on this thing is long still, despite its speed. And I have like 40 skill or 60 skill, and it's still beheading little militia. Hey, you guys go ahead and chase me. Keep on chasing, you dipshits. And these guys just have no chance. Of course, I have plenty of hit points at this stage, and we're just doing a little farming here at the end of the episode. I will talk a little bit about what I feel is sort of the optimal build for Bannerlord in this campaign. I try to mix it in a little bit in case people haven't seen my other campaigns. People often say, damn, you know, your army seems to shred people, and especially your main character. So we will talk a little bit about Hugh the Hammer in this episode, right? We'll find some time. You see he gained 37 polearm points in one battle. That's partly because, of course, we have the, it is called... well, it's smithing, right? We artificially gave ourselves some smithing skill. We'll take these prisoners. And that has enabled us to push his two-handed skill over 330, over the natural cap. Which is not an exploit, right? This is something that you can do in your campaign, and it'll be something I talk about here as we talk about a character build. Like I said, we'll do a whole episode that focuses on that heavily, but these little moments in between here where we're just gathering loot and moving through the process. So this guy's going to get away. I can't stop this fuck here. Just like that, those other Southern Empire forces that got away. Look at these juicy troops in here, right? Skolder, Veteran, Broda, we'll take them, especially after that ugly battle. I got some some highwaymen. Never mind this. All right, so you know what I'm doing here at this stage. You guys understand. We're putting looters and mounted ransackers and whatnot in castles, and we're starting to pull out our reserves. I'm starting to pull out some of our more valuable troops because we're going to make a push here on the Aserai. I'm going to try to siege Razi. So we're going to just do a little bit of troop movement here, and I'll talk for a minute or two about this character, right? This character, Hugh the Hammer, he has over 330 two-handed skill, right? I'm not going to actually show you the character screen. We'll just talk about it while we move here. Over 330 two-handed skill. He's got like 260 one-handed skill because I generally don't bother with one-handed skill. He's got 330 athleticism and riding, or at least very close. I haven't looked recently. And then, of course, the other main skill that you see me putting points into is the bottom one, intelligence. And that is because, of course, with intelligence, you get the 3 skills of medicine, steward, and siege. Now, I've raved about this in other campaign episodes, but to be able to be maxed out in those 3, what it does is it makes you a beast in every area of the battlefield map, and I'll explain. Again, just sort of switching some units here in between some of my units that took a beating there. We will even out their forces here, and then we will be on our way. We're heading to Razi, so we need a full roster here, but I'm going to have to dump some, it looks like I'm going to have to dump some looters too. All right, so the first one is obvious, right? Your steward skill. If you have really high steward skill, you save everything from money to food. That's why money is not an object at all for us in this campaign. Every once in a while, in fact, you see like 30,000 gold get dumped on our party. We have unlimited money. It's just not an issue. Neither is food, right? Our cities do tend to have issues after they've been sieged for a while, but because our army uses so little food, we can simply dump our food onto cities anytime we want. And the rest of our army, I guess they're all like on Weight Watchers and shit, hardly eating at all. So that's the first one, steward, right? And there are other perks in there as well, but I won't get too deep into it. Even more looters here. There's so many looters. Look at this dipshit. He's just going to hang out in his town. We're going to trap this stupid fuck here. You stupid asshole. Come with us. He just sits there in his town. He must have like 12 scouting skill or something like that. Talia Willowbark just fucking... I can hear her saying, come with us. You know, she's got her high voice. She just fucking ganked that guy. All right, so steward skill, it speaks for itself, right? Very powerful in the campaign map. How about medicine skill, right? This is valuable in the campaign map where your units heal faster, your companions die less readily, they die of old age later. There's all kinds of perks, you get more hit points, but the big one, the mother of all perks, is the extra hit points for your troops, especially when you have troops like this. You get 80 extra hit points if you get it to 330 medicine skill, right? That is incredibly powerful for your troops. And of course, in this case, that means our Sea Raiders and Mounted Pillagers, it's almost like there's 2 of them on the battlefield, right? Because you have a Sea Raider and he gets pounded over the head by Elite Manavliton who does 110 damage, and the guy shakes his head no, like, I'm still up, motherfucker. And then he slams him with his battle axe and bores into him with his shield. It's an analogy, I'm just giving an example, but having this extra hit points, especially for these weaker troops, is huge. Even troops like looters, instead of just getting mass executed by archers, they're able to close on an enemy force and start pounding on them with their little sickles and their little pickaxes. It's an incredibly powerful perk. Probably the most singular powerful perk in the whole game. You could maybe put that javelin throwing skill there, or endurance for the main characters so that it's very hard for the enemy to pin you down. But I think that medicine skill just is incredibly powerful. So there's all that advantage from the medicine skill. The final one, of course, is siege. And if you're in any kind of a campaign like this, just like we're about to do here, you're going to be sieging a lot, right? Look at the 30,000 gold change, right? That's partly because of our steward skill. All of our troops are virtually free because of the perks we have. So here's where siege comes into play, right? There's all kinds of perks up and down the skill list of siege that has to do with doing more damage or taking less damage or being more accurate. And it really matters in this pre-battle stage what the skill levels are for the people defending a city or castle and the people assaulting. And you will notice this if you go up against a very high level lord that has like 250 plus siege skill and you have 50, If they're outside your city with catapults, all your interior siege is dead and your walls are probably destroyed. Their catapults are like one-shotting your catapults, and meanwhile yours miss or don't do any damage, and you get ramrodded. And there are very real ramifications of that, of course, because then once you get into the actual battle, you know, now you got holes in the walls of your castle, or you have no fireballs at all, no counter siege, no fire onagers inside your city, while they do, right? And your troops just get pounded on the wall, etc. So in this battle here, this little skirmish, this little simulation, I guess, of siege, they are going to be able to fight back pretty well, because it has to do with how many troops that are also building siege. I guess you get the picture. There's like guys running back and forth carrying these little balls to the trebuchet and stuff like that. The more troops you have inside a city or sieging a city, the faster your little siege weapons there build. And that's a vital part of it, of course, because as you destroy them, you fucking assholes, as you destroy, look at, they're attacking only the walls. This is just horrible AI. The enemy's pounding us here with catapults, and our fucking siege weapons are wholly obsessed with damaging the wall while they get shredded by counter siege. This is an RNG effect in my experience. I've never been able to aim these. You can't tell them, you know, you can't hold it over a catapult and say, attack this catapult. You see, they just attack everything else. As far as I know, there's no way to make your units do what you want here. So there is an RNG effect, and right here they're acting, or I guess you would say we're getting unlucky if it's random. The point, though, is that our siege weapons are taking much less damage and doing more damage because of this siege skill. And this is a vital part of the game. You're doing a siege like, well, these episodes, it's almost every episode there's a big siege, whether it's a siege defense or a siege assault. Maybe it's every other episode, but for sure it's a major part of Bannerlord. And by having 10 intelligence, again, I'll wrap this point up here because we're about to launch our assault. If you have 10 intelligence points, it's a whole new world, right? It's just, you're crushing the enemy siege. Your troops have tons of hit points. They're cheap. They don't hardly eat any food. The combined effect of having 10 intelligence is unbelievably powerful for your army. And since I have a little bit of time here, I'll mention this. You can assign certain characters to certain skills as a captain, right? They can be a steward captain. However, even if you have a companion with 300 medicine skill and you make them your doctor or whatever it's called, the surgeon, they do not, and I repeat, they do not give your troops those extra hit points. It only comes from your main character. That's something that I had to learn the hard way. I did some testing, and it only comes from you, right? So all of these 418 troops that we have, additionally with these prisoners, these 427 guys now have like 200 and something hit points, which is tremendously valuable here. 1,800 defenders against our 900 looters and mounted pillagers. This is going to be hell, but this is part of the campaign. We have no choice. The enemy is going to be in manifestly larger and stronger armies the whole way, pretty much, right? We're almost never outnumbering the enemy at this stage unless we're just running down a single army, and we're going to have to fight tooth and nail to win this campaign. Now, I like to have 2 infantry divisions to micromanage in a situation like this, but you want to observe where your ram is, right? You don't want to take the troops off the ram. The easiest way for the ram just to do its thing, in other words, for it to be pushed up against the walls and then have the guys push their way in, is to not fuck with that unit. So this 3rd division, the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take those skirmishers. They don't need all those javelins. They're just going to be in a packed mass of troops. There, now it's a bunch of mounted pillagers or whatever, and now I can use these skirmishers in the 2nd and 1st division. So I'm going to try the right here. This is going to be hell no matter what, because the enemy's going to have like 1,200 active defenders. We are using the battle size mod, and obviously that means that if we have 800 attackers, they have 1,200 defenders. I'm not exaggerating, 1,200 defenders, because the battle size mod does 2,000 units on the battlefield at the same time. Now, they're pounding us with 1 counter siege. I think I didn't look super closely. We did destroy their fire catapults, but they have at least 1 catapult. So we're going to rush up here in spread formation to minimize casualties. I have the 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 5th with me, and we're going to basically try to blitz this right side. Easier said than done. Maybe I should have built a catapult, but it takes time, right? And of course, they were throttling our siege. We got archers coming over here already. You can see the power bar, right? That's not a good idea. You don't want to siege when the power bar favors the enemy. This is usually going to be a disaster for you, and it may be for us, right? They just blew up. That was probably the 3rd Corps, tightly packed on their ram. They just killed like 50 guys. But we've got some javelins flying. We've got archers working here. I'm going to jump on a fire catapult and see if I can't help them blow a hole, and then we will proceed from there. Some cities, the enemy's really vulnerable to fire catapults. Like I see a group of them up on the wall there. In fact, I think they just hit them. I saw a huge flush of green. Of course, our lake rat wreckers and forest bandits are scorching them. Yeah, you just see they just scorched a whole bunch of enemies on the walls there. We'll dial this in here. But we have at least one other fire catapult, so these guys are already going to work. I think I'll probably just join our men here and try to push in. I'm observing this counter siege. They're lobbing these little impotent catapult rounds, and again, your siege skill affects that, right? Literally, we're taking less damage and suffering less casualties because of our siege skill, siege and medicine skill. All right, so off my soapbox there. I think I made that point clearly. The 3 skills basically that I would favor if I was new playing Bannerlord, you're watching this and you want to dominate, you want to do well, I would pick a weapon, probably a 2-handed or a polearm is what I would prefer. If you're getting killed a lot, go shield and spear, or shield and sword, right? You want to be able to hold up a big shield in front of you so you don't get smoked, and play defensive, of course, on a horse. But once you get going, a 2-handed weapon or a polearm, once you start to get your range and timing down, you get a little athleticism, some good armor. What are these guys doing? Those are our guys. Oh, that's the 6th Corps. Charge. All right, let's get up on these walls here. It looks like they've already pushed a hole. But then the other 2 skills I would focus on is athleticism, or more accurately, that comes from endurance. Holy shit, there's a bunch of defenders on the wall here. We're going to try to pound these guys off the walls here. I would focus on endurance, and then I would focus on intelligence. Try to get steward, medicine, etc. pumped up. It's not realistic to get all 3 to 10, but you can get them to 8 or 9 by level 36 and 40, right? And it already starts to make a major difference. The other skills, frankly, I would punt them a little bit, right? I would punt your tactics and your cunning. I would punt your social skills. Punt means basically skipping, intentionally leaving them low to put those points elsewhere. And I wouldn't focus too much on a ranged weapon unless you really want to be an archer. Then stick, 3, 4, 5 points into control and grab yourself a bow. A bow is for sure the easiest way to play defensive and just sort of sit back. Where the fuck are our troops? These guys are coming up so fucking slowly. God damn it. Our units sometimes get jammed up on the ladder, and that's what's happening here. I think we just totally pushed a hole, and there's no fucking troops up here. The enemy's peppering us with these fucking archers down there. And I'm getting frustrated. I'm going to go to work on some of these archers here. It looks like we have like 10 guys down here getting slaughtered. All of a sudden, my game is really slow and stuttering. Don't know what's going on there. Okay, it just fixed itself. I can't stay here. I've got no fucking support at all. I'm being fucking surrounded and shot by fucking 30 archers. None of these troops are ours. Where the fuck? I sent like 200 guys up here, and we're just getting torched. And the enemy's just sending reinforcements. We might lose this siege. This looks very rough. They are defending well. They've got a huge amount of infantry down there. I can't get guys up the ladder for some reason. I've got little bull cut militia motherfuckers attacking me like a zombie apocalypse. I want off this wall. This wall is death to me. I'm getting fucking totally fucking mobbed and chased. I guess our troops are stuck or whatever. They just can't get up these fucking ladders. Of course, sometimes they get bugged and they won't go up the ladders. And in fact, that's what's going on here. Not only can I not pull them, they won't do anything I tell them. That's lovely. So I've got, 400 or 500 troops just stuck over there. They won't do anything. They won't follow any orders. I'm going to have to just try to make a go at it here with these 100 guys here. We've got about 120 troops here. The enemy's pouring out the gate on us. All right, let's Let's take a nice zenful fucking deep breath here. We're not dead yet. We still have fire catapults. I still have some archers and infantry moving up here, but man, it looks rough. Let's get our archers spread out and push these guys, push them back in. Or it's almost like I talked about it and they decided to go back in. And let's look for another weakness here, right? The enemy's obviously guarding that right side heavily. Let's see if the left side or the center is weak. Maybe I have 150 raggedy troops here. What do we got? We have 7th Corps. We're doing damage to the enemy at least because we're shooting them on the walls. But that's a no-go, right? It's just packed enemies as far as I can see. Maybe I can shove these shield guys in there, but low-level units don't shove in very well against higher-level units. These ladders aren't even being used. That's lovely. I guess I got to do it all myself. But these are the kind of things you got to adapt and overcome, right? In Siege, in Bannerlord. In this case, you know, one last excuse here. Clearly, there's some bugs going on. My units are not going up the ladder. Nobody came over here to pick up these ladders. These are all normal things that your army will do. Here, I'm literally having to do it all because my units are either bugged or stupid, or maybe I botched the command for them. I'm going to try to pull guys up here on the left side and get them inside that city. Kill that guy. God damn it. Getting pushed around, getting frustrated. We're taking a nice deep breath here, right? Getting frustrated and letting your emotions take over only kills you, right? Then you road rage or tell your girlfriend to go fuck herself and you're suddenly single and you wish you'd said something different. We're going to control our emotions here and try to win this siege. Let's pull the 7th up here and try to sneak into this tower. There's a huge Zerg here defending the wall. Out of my way. Fuck, the tower is heavily defended too. God damn it. And we get shot right in the neck. Alright. This is turning into a disaster siege here. We might have to pull out. At least we have like 120, 150 troops over here now zerging the walls. But I think the front door is a no-go. The far right side is a no-go. I mean, at least they're still going up the ladder, but you see that right ladder, they're not using it very well. It's like it's bugged or the units are bugged. I'm going to try to send one more square through here. Oh, we got a puncture here. These guys have made a little bit of a push. Let's push these divisions right through this small gap here. Let's do the 1st, 2nd, and what else do we have here? I got the 3rd archers. Let's pull these guys through here and see if we can't shove a hole. I'm being pushed along by all these guys with shields. I don't want them attacking. I just want them pushing a fucking hole, and they're doing exactly that. Look at how beautiful that is, right? We just shoved our fucking way into the city, and finally a little bit of hope here. So start spreading out our units here. I have the 2nd and 3rd Division of Archers. Let's go ahead and try to free this right side as well. Now that we've got troops in here, let's basically assault these fucks over here on this right side. It's our left now, but the right side as you come into the castle. We'll send 1 infantry division to go confront those guys, spread out archers behind them, and we're finally making some progress here. Of course, Hugh the Hammer went down. That was frustrating. Anytime you get a bugged situation like that, it just is what it is. You got to deal with it, right? Like my units clearly were not coming up the ladder, and you suffer the consequences for that. We got to kill these fucking guys. Charge. Get right in their fucking face. These archers just peppering us here. Get up there. Get your fucking mace on their face. Hold fire. Get the fuck up there. Oh, they were on hold fire already. Interesting. Well, the AI will do that. That's so frustrating. The AI will take over for you, and the next thing you know, half your units are on hold fire for some reason. I just got smoked in the face. These archers are routing, though. And that is beautiful, because this side was becoming a huge pain in the ass. This gal here is one of the wives of the kingdom, and she's not bad. She's actually moving around pretty well with her stupid helmet. She must do some leg workouts or something like that, because she has got some nice athleticism. We can separate our archers here and start to crimp in on these reinforcements coming to try to stop us. Fuck you guys. And she swings a pretty good axe. It's a custom axe, of course, and it's slow, but it's doing gigantic damage, and it's really long. I can hit these guys before they even have a chance to counter. Just bam. It's just one-shotting guys, too. All right, that side seems clear. We really are having to fight our way through this city, though. This is just a brawl. It makes for good watching, though. I bet you guys are probably enjoying it. You just don't know, right? We might have to back out of a siege like this. Oh, shit, this is a perfect opportunity. Let's get infantry in here, bottle these guys up, and have our archers scorch these guys on the walls. The 3rd Corps is following me. As soon as they're next to me, you should start seeing arrows flying up there, and we're going to push in with the infantry here. These guys are trapped. The enemy basically is caught between our 2 different units. And in come the arrows, and the death spam is commensurately green. She's got actually a decent skill set, right? She's got a solid bow here. It shoots really fast. She must have a noble bow. Doing decent damage, and of course you just saw her in combat. She's pretty good, and this is a viable build, by the way. If I was just talking about character builds, this is definitely viable if you want to use a polearm, like a 150 170 length-ish polearm, so you can swing it safely, and then have a bow and 2 quivers. I like that. I would say that's a good character build. I'm going to drag the 8th Corps up here onto the wall so we can start getting archer support. You want to have athleticism, though, if you're going to use this kind of a build, right? If you're going to do an infantry build at all, you want to have athleticism. Otherwise, you better get really good at parrying. Otherwise, the enemy will just absolutely shred you in melee, right? You won't be able to juke, you won't be able to parry, and you'll just be dead. The enemy has a bunch of troops inside this fucking tower here. But we've got our battle axe. Ah! These little guys, they're making little sounds like they're a frog or something like that. Ow! And we've got this shit. We're starting to pen up their archers in here. Sophia to the rescue here. She's racking up kills. We can now do a little bit of sniping. Reminds me of when I was 20. Just shoot them right in the fucking neck. Yeah, you're not guarding your legs, are you? I was once an Aserai Mamluk heavy cavalry till I took an arrow in the knee. Down you go, bitch. We got some other archers here trying to stop us, and this city is ours. We got a brilliant sunset or sunrise. I guess it's a sunrise as we take yet another Aserai city and add it to the rebellion. It wasn't easy, but to be honest, friends, when things are easy in life, you seek a greater challenge, right? Whatever it is you're doing in life, if it's easy over and over again, figure out some way to make it harder, right? Try a harder challenge. Whatever it is, that way you can continue to grow as a person. All right. Well, we'll take it. Battle is finished here. We wrap this shit up. Quite a bit of casualties, but 183. We're going to hope that most of those are looters and mounted pillagers. Obviously, we lost 3 force bandits. We're going to lose troops. It's just part of the game. Hopefully, we can keep it balanced with recruits here. I've got to auto-resolve this. They barely were able to take it. In fact, we had a death. A forest bandit boss. See, that's painful. It's a tier 4 or tier 5 archer. But it is what it is, right? We won't complain. We will sally on here. We get some nice prisoners here. The militia, especially the veteran prisoners, are fairly decent, right? These guys with 2 quivers and a bow. Obviously, they're wearing cloth armor, so they get destroyed in the open field. But for castle siege, if you can protect them on the battlefield, they're not half bad. Few other, very few prisoners here, and we will upgrade some of these. Some of these, I continue to tease you guys. Apologies if guys are mad. They wanted to see the My Little Warband mod by now. It's coming very soon, right? I'm not doing that so that you guys tune in next week. I'm just telling you that it is going to be part of this campaign. Although, you should be tuning in, right? Come watch some shit. We're making some pretty good content here. I think most people that come to our restaurant like what they eat and want to come back. But obviously, to each his own, right? If this isn't for you, nice knowing you. Go watch Mr. Chicken Bannerlord or whatever. There's plenty of good YouTube out there. And there's amazing content creators. I never thought I'd be doing this. We're going to give this city a bunch of food. But I don't have regular food, so we're going to just carve up some. We're going to do a little barbecue here, a little bit of sheep, cow, and hog, even though ostensibly maybe we're Muslims. We're going to have a little bit of pig. We're going to do a little butchering here, even out some units, and we will be on our way. A little bit of editing. How do I want to do this? Let's see. Yeah, we'll do a little bit of editing, and we'll be right back. All right, and just like that, like a massive garrison stuck at Razi. We restock our prisoners here, 735. Look how many looters we have, and our army's going to be ready to go here. We're going to keep going, right? At this stage, we're over here in the east. I don't want to run all the way back west. We're probably going to start losing castles in that direction. What I'm hoping is basically like you're fighting two opponents and you give one of them some severe beating in the boxing ring, and he's like knocked down to the ground or unconscious a bit, and then you run over and attack the other guy. That's what we're trying to do here. In fact, I'm going to dump almost all of these troops here. There's so much militia all over the place that we're going to take this about 300 guys here, add some militia archers especially to our army here. I'm going to, again, this will just take a second. So I want all these looters in here. All right, so even out some of our units here, clean this up just a little bit, and we'll be on our way. We're going to keep moving, right? We're going to keep heading north. Razi is ours now. Now it's heavily defended, right? We're able to shove all those looters into the garrison. We've been able to even out our army, though, although we need some more looters here to accentuate the ranks. We're only at 750 troops. We can have about 1,000 total in our army just with our units here. We can, oh, you see they're picking up recruits, right? That is these guys here. Like I said, that is coming soon in this series. I'll be talking about that. We can upgrade to some lower level custom troops that I've created, culturally appropriate and rebellion appropriate, right? The Furious Housewife and stuff like that. And we will talk about the French Revolution. So we talked about character builds here. Probably going to take Tam Newcastle. We're not going to do anything. We're going to run from this army here. 1,500 Aserai. We're outnumbered 3-1. We need to heal up here. We do have a good amount of archers and javelin throwers. I need let's see. I need some way to destroy this force here. I don't want them to get to Razi because it'll take forever to siege. So Doka, I think Doka might have a landscape that is advantageous for us here for defense. Let's take a look at this shit. Let's get a little caffeine. I don't recognize this. Give me a second. Hold on. Apologies. There are a couple landscapes. This is going to work. This is it. All right, check this shit out. You guys are going to love this shit. Some of you guys may have already seen this. I've fought a battle or two on this landscape before for the channel. You can do a wicked reverse slope decline defense here. So I got to do a little bit of healing. Let's see. We got 152 injured. I need to lure this Aserai force to attack us here. I want to stall for a little bit. Here's the other thing I can do too. I can have some of these other companions of ours. We can have them heal for us, right? What I can do is I can just dump some of our injured troops onto Talia Willowbark and stuff like that, and they will heal faster. Is this guy? Oh, there he goes. I was gonna say he's ignoring us. Now he's not. He's chasing us. All right, so she's got a full healthy roster, so we'll take her healthy troops. We'll just plop them onto our guy here, Hugh the Hammer, and then what we'll do is we will just give her some of these injured troops, and she has good medicine skill, right? She has like 280 medicine skill, so she doesn't heal as fast or give her troops as many hit points as Hugh the Hammer, but it's still healing hands, right? This guy has no injured troops again. In just overnight, right? It's dark right now. Just overnight, we might be able to heal an extra 50 or 100 troops, which is what we probably need here to have a good shot at winning this battle. This landscape is a Peekaboo Ridge strategy. Oh, he just bugged out. He's just sitting there. Whoop. Now he's after us again. So we got to bait this guy into a battle here at Doka. He should readily attack our Devil 666. Because obviously we're outnumbered still 2.5 to 1. So we're gonna give him a whiff here. We're gonna cut off his route to Razi. He's probably going to Razi to siege. And there he goes. He comes in on us. Look at the healing. The number's going up rapidly, right? Because our other healers are doing their thing. In fact, they're almost done with their job. I gave her like 50 troops to heal. She only has 9 left, right? So we'll take all these now healed troops mounted. Where's the good troops? Here we go. Skolder, Veteran Broda, Lake Rat Wreckers. We'll take all those troops. right back to Hugh the Hammer. In fact, let's grab a few from this guy as well. We get the extra hit points if we put them on Hugh the Hammer's roster, so to speak. So we want to put some of these good troops on his roster. We don't want to put all of them though, in case we get deserters. So we'll try to even this a little bit here. What else do you got? You got some forest bandits. Okay. Especially I like to do infantry with extra hit points because they're getting pounded on, right? Those guys are going to use the extra hit points because they're going to be getting attacked. All right, now let's see if we can just bait this guy. We should. It's working well. Here we go. He's confidently attacking us here with 1,546. We're outnumbered worse than 2 to 1. And I don't think the enemy has any chance in this battle. Maybe that's hubris. We shall see, friends. But you're about to see a savage battlefield tactic on this map. Look at this fucking place. This is beautiful. Now, we need to triangulate the enemy to this location out here. And I'll explain this basically as I reorganize our units. If the enemy comes at you at an angle and doesn't come over the ridge you want them to approach on, it's not as effective. If they come at us from the side here, we'll have a lot less success. So what I'm actually going to do is start our units out in front here, and then as the enemy comes close to us, we will sally back, or not sally back, we will fall back and assume our defensive positions. Let's get a 2nd division here. I'm going to use the 2nd division as a bait ball. I'll actually put them in a square as we retreat. And then I do want some archers up here to shoot as they approach. But we're not staying here. We're not going to be here for an extended period of time. I just want some of these archers to have an ability to spray some arrows, do a little softening up in the enemy before we beat feet back to our defensive position. This is our ultimate goal, this little bowl here. We'll put the 2nd infantry out in front and then 3 different infantry divisions in a big arc. And what those guys will do, of course, is throw javelins at hopefully a very penned up, traffic jammed enemy force. And vitally, they're not going to be able to get their archers down to attack us, right? Because their archers are going to get smoked on that ridge. All right, so we're here very temporarily. If you're going to do this process, you need to be very fluid at moving your units. This will work with 5 units, 4 or 5 units, but I'd recommend you have 6 or 7. That way you get better angles for your archers, more infantry divisions to square, just more versatility. See, all these crossbow, we probably have 180 to 200 crossbow and archers in the army right now. But again, we're not here to fight it out. We're just here to lure the enemy this direction. In fact, I'm just going to put the 2nd way out front here. You know what I'm going to do? We're going to take these guys off their horses. The reason I'm doing that is because, again, it'll slow the enemy pursuit, and then I can bring these infantry to act as our defensive bait ball square. A lot of those guys have shields, and they can be a division that we use defensively here. You'll see in a moment. Most of the enemy troops are coming that way. It's time to beat feet, right? You don't want to stay here too long because you'll get cut down during the retreat. So the 2nd division comes in a square and everybody else comes in a line formation, and now we start spreading them out, right? Crossbow right here, archers right next to them, a little bit more spread out. You want them on the other side of the bank. That way they have beautiful line of sight to shoot. And then the 1st, 3rd, and 6th, just like I was explaining beforehand, and line formations for now, just so they move faster, and then a shield wall once they're there. 7th and 8th Corps, just kind of back towards the back here. We're going to use them as auxiliary divisions to charge. And this 2nd division, this is the one that's vital to place it correctly. They're coming up right now in a square, and that's so the enemy has something to attack besides our archers and shit. And they're getting killed. That's okay. Mounted ransacker killed. You want to put them right at the edge of this ridge. And after you form that wall, you want to look from a distance and make sure that the angle is right. I'll show you in a second. I'm setting up these other shield wall infantry. I want these divisions to be long because these guys have lots of javelins, so I want every guy, or almost every guy, to be towards the front of the line. We have horse archers. There's 30 horse archers pursuing us. I recognize we're at the edge of the map. Some guys frown on that. That's fine. You guys can keep frowning. You're the one that'll have wrinkles when you're old. The enemy's coming up here. And we want to be a little judicious with ammo here, but there is where we want them. We want that 2nd division right at the edge of that sharp ridge so that the enemy can come over that ridge and then they run into a wall. And you can see what we got going on here. We got a shooting gallery with the fucking a defensive line that just holding off the enemy from getting in here. Now, guys are going to slip through, right? These Legionary and Imperial Elite Cataphract, but we have enough units firing javelins and archers, arrows, that it should be able to take out the stragglers pretty well. It's still going to be bloody. We're outnumbered worse than 2 to 1, but look at the death spam, right? I can already tell this is going to work. The 6th Corps here will clean up just a bit. And the enemy's coming in from the side, but we've got a nice infantry division there holding up their javelins, spraying in arrows. The 2nd Corps has moved in a square and kind of side by side on the enemy. And look at the javelins being chucked, right? All these 3rd Division Lake Rats and fucking Skolderbroda and whatnot throwing javelins here. Let me help you out there, militia. Get off our militia. I like our militia. I'm going to crush this cavalry. Smash some of these guys that are kind of leaking in. And this force actually is mostly infantry, but it's still working, right? The bolts are flying everywhere. The enemy's being torched with ranged weapons. This battle is over. I mean, I know it just started, but I can just tell you this battle is over. We've got a handful of units to kind of clean up here. Hugh the Hammer is more than eager to fucking kick some of these insolent infantry. These guys can charge. That way their infantry doesn't push in too far to our archers. And now we just got to watch. Oh shit, their archers are right here. Fuck, they got Fiend Champs and whatnot right here. I did not think they would come over that ridge that fast. Still, the archers are going to scorch those guys. I got to get out of here though. I'm going to get fucking shot. I'm wearing a fucking piece of cloth over my forehead here. Let's back up and I think we'll hide. Fuck, we'll hide behind the tent. I just took like half my health. Look at this shit. I got this little tent for cover. The enemy, of course, they can't shoot through a cloth tent. So I can literally just sit here by my commander's tent. In fact, look at the death spam. You know what we're going to do? Let's just watch our troops work here. In fact, this would be a spot where you'd get a quickie on them with the mistress, right? We got a nice little cloth here. In fact, let's get cocky. What kind of whiskey barrels do we got here? These baskets, right? That looks like, what, about 6th century Assyrian, right? We'll just understand. I'm just having some fun here. Our guys have this, right? I don't have to do anything. They're creating a fucking graveyard out there. I got this little tent to hide in, this little commander's tent to hide in, and this battle is over. Right? They're bringing up another wave, but it's going to be more of the same, right? They have no chance. Little cav charge here. We're killing our own guys as usual. Give me your shield, dudes. You don't need it. Man, no, I don't want to drop my hammer. What a nasty tendency that is to fucking drop my hammer. Don't do that, stupid fuck. And again, we'll just hide in our little tent here. Our units can now be told to fire away. All these archers and crossbow can smoke everything in sight. And the enemy has no chance here. It's a scorching. Whoops. Threw my javelin into the cloth tent. Look at this. I can just sit in my tent here and snipe these infantry trying to come up to our units. Let's bring them close to me here. I'm going to get more involved with this. Enough fucking around here. We're not about to lose this battle here because I'm just fucking around. We've got the 6th Division in a square here. That'll give us a little bit of protection and jam up this against all this cavalry. And we got the 3rd over here. These guys can fucking shield wall. And the enemy's down to mid-level troops, right? These are tribesmen. These are like tier 2 or something like that. These guys just carved apart. Our square is absorbing a lot of attention. Let's pull that square this direction. That way the archers can strafe it the whole time that they're chasing it. Let's go ahead and charge with the 7th and 8th. And let's kill these fucking remaining sad Aserai. We trucked this force. I mean, this force has been obliterated. Getting stuck here against the fucking wagon. I think they just fucking fled. They're either reforming or fled. Either way, it's our turn to get aggressive, right? This enemy's been punched into a corner. Let's fucking finish these bitches off. These are all our mounted pillagers charging. We're gonna do a little farming here with our polearm and chase this fucking Aserai force off the map. And we didn't just win this battle. This was a smoking. These guys got absolutely schooled. And I think they're getting out of dodge. Man, I have an amazing ability to hit our own troops. It's kind of miraculous. All right, let's advance archers here and see what's on the other side of this ridge. They are forming a defensive line there. I think they're routing, though. I just felt the little glitch, the little slowdown where the enemy tends to rout. And I would rout too, right? This is just a no chance battle for the enemy here. In fact, there they go. You have won the battle. Let's get a little farming in here with our polearm. And that's a perfect example of using the terrain, using a reverse slope decline to your advantage. That was a force that was stronger overall army than us and outnumbered us, and we just completely blitzed them and cast them aside. It does look like they're turning here, even though the battle is technically over. I'm going to get a little bit of farm on here. And I also don't want these guys to escape, right? I don't need 900 Aserai forces getting away here and us having to fight them another day. This prevents that, right? A lot of these guys that get killed here at the end of the battle obviously won't be able to flee and escape. There's, almost no chance of dying here. These are tier 2, tier 1 units. We're raising our polearm skill dramatically. We're going to be at 100 like in one episode. And that is that. Beautiful. More success here. Our bandit army just rolls on. I mean, we are just absolutely obliterating everything with mounted pillagers and step bandits and looters and Hugh the Hammer, almost 100 polearm skill. Our companions are chipping in. Our companions are still pretty weak, but they are chipping in, right? 9 kills, 7 kills, 4 kills. We'll take it. That means they're gaining skill levels, and importantly, none have died. We've been very lucky so far with deaths. We do have the Death for All mod. I have tested it, and it is operating, so we shall see. Expect more deaths in the future. All right, so what now, right? Tam Newcastle, perhaps, maybe Hassan Folk. We're going to make a dent, though. That's a nice piece of armor. It doesn't have any leg protection for some reason. I guess they were in a hurry and couldn't finish it, and so the legs are wide open or something. It's like naked chaps. Your butt cheeks are sticking out the back or something. It's actually not that much better because the leg armor is so weak. We have some pretty decent armies, so let's just go ahead and take all this gear. We'll look at that later. I won't waste your time. Motherfucker, there is an army left here. 308. It seemed like we killed them all there, but I guess a lot ran away. Talia Willowbark, sick 'em, right? This is our bulldog. Although it looks like she ate too much steak. She is highly encumbered. I think she's going to be able to chase this guy down. They're both disorganized. Come on, get his ass. I don't want to have to deal with these Aserai here in 10 minutes. She's got him. Look at her go. And we catch this bitch here. And I think with our army fighting this 308, it's another example of a battle we're just going to fight real quick. I will make this a 3-minute battle, I promise you. You can start your stopwatch. Oh shit, it's throwing us right in, so that's going to make it even faster. Let's go ahead and just split real sloppily our archer divisions. It doesn't matter too much for a battle like this. We'll move our horse archers to the 7th. Let's see, I already fucked up the archers, so we'll do archers in the 4th, 5th, and 6th, cavalry in the 2nd and 3rd. And what we're just going to do here is sweep cavalry to both sides, compact them in on the enemy, and scorch them at range with these archers. And then we have an infantry division. The infantry can charge forward in the shield wall. Look at all those lake rats and scolder broda and whatnot. All right, and we'll send cav to both sides here, the horse archers to the enemy's left, and then 2 horse divisions to the enemy's right. And we're just going to sweep in and cover this battle really quick here. This is an example where you auto-resolve and you lose 150 troops. We can't afford that, right? I mean, if they were all looters, it'd be okay, but we can't afford to lose 150 lake rats and forest bandits and the Jawal units, the handful of good cavalry that we have. We've got to have a low death rate here. So hopefully we can get this with like less than 100 or less than 50 deaths maybe. The way the enemy's setting up, we're going to succeed for sure, because I'm going to be able to just sweep through cavalry here and completely fucking truck their army while we pound them at range. So we'll send the 7th Division to the far side there. We'll take the 2nd and 3rd and drag it over here to the enemy's right. We're going to sweep in as soon as they start to move forward, and they're already starting to move forward because, of course, they're being shot. All the enemy units are being scorched at range by archers, and they're charging. Our 1st Division can actually be told to back up. That way they unload javelins, and we're just going to drag cavalry right through here. Look at the fucking fire they're under. In fact, this is a perfect opportunity for me to do a little bit more polearm farming. Just chop down some insolent Aserai forces. They've got an awful lot of recruits and tier 2 infantry in here, and the fucking massacre is on. All right, so the cav divisions pour through here, and this battle is going to be wrapped up in a hurry. Right? If you started your stopwatch, this is going to be a 2-minute battle. Right? We're just going to be able to shred these fucks with very few losses. I don't know if I've seen a single death yet in our army. I mean, it is a shredding. Our cav is now charging through. There's a death. We lost a mounted ransacker. And these battles are necessary, right? If you were playing a campaign and you just auto-resolve these perfunctory battles here, you lose 100 guys, 150 guys, and that'll cost you sometimes, right? This is their lord. Whatever this guy is here, I want this guy myself. Oh, shit, we're fumbling our buttons away. No, I want control of Hugh the Hammer, that's right. Stand still, boys. I'm taking this bitch out. And then we're going to wrap this episode up. This campaign rolls on, right? I think we're on probably episode 9 or 10. We'll see. We'll have to see what I do in the after editing. Of course, I just narrate these live and break them into reasonable chunks. But this has been a lot of fun for me. This is the first Peasants Revolt where it felt like we had enough momentum to actually win the campaign. Now, conquer the whole map? Probably not, right? But we're certainly making ground on the enemies that are in front of us. So thank you, Talia Willowbark. Actually, she says thanks to us. We take all these insolent Aserai forces present, take them prisoner. Again, almost no fucking prisoners, foot troop prisoners. It's been a real dearth of prisoners here. But victory is victory, right? And this undefeated campaign rolls on. And who knows what it's going to take to stop us, right? We've got a head of steam now. Our units are getting better. Every battle, it seems like Hugh the Hammer, his medicine skill goes up a little bit more. And all of Calradia is quaking in their boots, facing this bandit army here, right? We'll get Talia Willowbark loaded up with some looters and shit. You notice she's got an Iron Maiden. I think soon we are going to introduce our rebel units, right? My little warband units, and we will add some punch to this army. Huss and Folk, I think, is next. I appreciate you fellas. Of course, if you want to watch more from this campaign, you guys want to subscribe, please hit that like button, leave any comments you would like to leave. And with all that said, friends, I will see you fellas next time.